Hello and welcome to Cracking the Vault, the podcast where we're going through every Disney release in order. My name is Xander.
Sorry, absolutely thrown off guard. Trevor, do you want to try yours again, Jake? Nah? Okay.
I'm Jake.
Should have just went like the rest of the podcast and then at the very
Yeah,
end
I would have like, hey Jake, what's your water notes? Wah, wah. Ah, yes.
I thought about doing the entire podcast like that, but I was like, no,
I would have
I'm
murdered
not
you.
going to stick to that.
Especially because it's the second episode of this season. Like, imagine.
One speaks in riddles.
What? That we can't use that.
Yeah.
That's not ours. But do you want to speak in rhymes though, or do I speak in riddles? What do you want to do? Xander speaks. You rhyme. I riddle.
Xander doesn't get this.
Mm-hmm.
Xander understands what's happening.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And for everyone else who doesn't also understand what's happening,
It's funny.
it's funny.
Trust me.
It's literally hilarious.
I believe you.
It's a really good bit.
Yeah, it was good. Can we get into the movie? I
We're
just
talking-
don't want to talk about the movie.
We're talking about Treasure Island, the
movie everyone
1950
knows.
Yeah, I mean, because obviously, okay, truly, in like Disney pantheon of Treasure Islands, in order it goes: Muppet Treasure Island,
Is that really the verse?
Treasure Planet.
That's
None of these were successful, and then Treasure Island. Or you could say Treasure Planet, Muppet Treasure Island.
Treasure Island.
I've seen this
You
one.
have eyes. You have you
Treasure
see.
Island. Have I seen Treasure Planet? What's Treasure Planet again? I need visual.
I got you.
Yes, Trevor. Yes, you have seen it. I'm going to skip to a part where we talk about something interesting because we kind of just go on for like 30 minutes about nothing that's relevant to this podcast. So I'm going to skip for you guys. Yeah, see you there.
You know what? No, I don't want to continue the point I was trying to speak. But yeah, I have seen Treasure Planet. Not the Muppets one. I've seen this one. So I've seen 2 of the 3.
Happy
I've
for
seen
you.
one of the 3. I've seen Treasure Planet. I don't know.
You've seen
I
this
really
one?
saw this movie.
Yeah.
We just
Well,
watched this movie.
No, I understand what Jake is saying. This
I'm
movie,
not
like,
sure if I watched this movie.
I think this movie kind of went through us.
If I see this little boy one more
was-
time.
Fucking Bobby Driscoll, R.I.P., but also, my God, man, you.
I feel like
Thanks
he
for
d-
Peter Pan. I do not care.
I feel like he doesn't age. Every time I see him as a little boy, I'm like, you're just the same little
Yeah.
kid.
For those who don't know, this is the same kid that was in like Song of the South,
Which is already a
and,
crime.
like,
Yes.
and a lot of other ones. It was the pirate talk combined with
with
the
that
accents trying to do it
performance.
with the performance. It just wasn't.
Yeah.
I understood.
Which
limited.
let me be clear, they were selling their pirates. Like
Yeah.
when they were pirates, they were pirates.
Yeah.
But the entire time I was like, can you like if subtitles were not on when we were watching it, I have no clue what they were saying.
I
But
would've-
from the little, like, okay, I guess we're just diving into this. Like, from the little I know about Treasure Island in general, and also as we were just watching this movie, like, Jim Hawkins, the main character, seems like kind of a tough role, especially for a kid, because on paper, he's already very bland.
yeah.
And Bobby Driscoll is the king of bland. So you're putting them together. And you just have this vacuum in the center of the movie.
I'm just meh.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Like, there is no real point of view character that you can identify with in this movie because you just don't care.
Yeah. No, that's a lie. The fucking old man.
Okay.
I identify with him.
Oh, what was his actual name?
Ben Gunn.
Is Ben Gunn? We just
Ben
kept
Gunn.
calling him Xylophone Man.
That's his theme was the xylophone.
His instrument was the
I love his
xylophone.
instrument.
Was really funny. That's the only part I can honestly tell you about this movie is Ben Gunn is the best character, and he just kind of like Gollums his way through the movie. Like he has no other purpose. He's just
I'm
there
like-
and he's like, I have all this money, and you're like, cool.
I
cool,
don't
man.
know if any of the other characters really know what he's saying, or they're just like, yeah.
Listen, Ben Gunn is
'Cause-
a king, and anything he says is right. Even if you don't know what he's saying, it's correct.
Yeah.
Ben,
He tells you what you say. I mean,
Oh my god. I've spent 2 hours listening through this video. We started over here. This at 5 minutes, we started over and tried to just make this a coherent episode. We spent 2 hours talking about our lives. And then we just skipped to the end, which I guess I'll show you that part because we don't even talk about the movie. Here, just play, listen, and have fun. Thanks.
anyways,
that.
Treasure Island. Where the fuck were we?
I mean,
Did we even start?
this movie is
I don't
about.
think we're going to do a summary of this movie. I don't think it's going to happen.
So I don't think anyone cares, honestly.
No one cares.
What did the little thing say? Because what
Thing?
that said, it was true, but it wasn't. Like the description that was like one sentence.
Oh, it was like the
Young boy finds treasure, pretty much.
Oh, yes.
so
Young boy
he
searches
did,
for treasure.
But like, okay, did it say searches or finds? Because searches would be a better way to put the plot than him finding it, because that was
I think it's
like 2
I
minutes
think
at the end.
I think
I feel
it
like
said
it's
looking
searches.
for.
okay. I was like, I don't remember because what a lie that was, because I thought it said he found it, and I was like, he did for like 2 minutes, and then he didn't give a shit about it. He,
Well, no, they were putting it back on the ship, but then the guy was like, "I'm gonna take it."
well, yeah,
No, the description of most movies have like paragraphs, like a little like
Couple
3
sentences.
sentences things. This one had one sentence.
not a name of any.
Yeah, it just said
character
a
or
young
place in
boy,
the movie.
a young boy looking for buried treasure, and we were like, okay, cool. And
To be honest, I don't think Jim ever really gave a fuck about the treasure. It
Yeah.
was more about the two men he was stuck between. And
oh,
Jim is simply a vessel for a map.
yeah, he was essentially the map boy. It was, you stick around, you keep this. Here, have a little gun. Be my little secret.
if you're gonna have a map like that, give it. No one expected
No.
it to be with the child. Like,
No.
why would you give
It
something
would
that
be with the
important to a
guy. Like-
child?
Well, now you know why.
Well, yeah. now they're gonna start expecting the children. But
What will he do?
what will they do when they expect the children? Yeah, no, this movie,
It's very hard to get invested in because it is so.
The plot
Stagey.
is so loose and it's so stagey.
It's very much like every scene is the camera is set up, the actors are in frame in a row, and they are talking. And it is very long scenes of them talking. Very difficult to understand because they're speaking in pirate speak.
Yes.
yeah.
Even if you are paying vigorous attention to the subtitles, you're only going to like basically intuit the plot as it's going.
Yeah. I mean,
You're getting clues from like the actors,
Yeah,
I'd say,
that's-
except for Bobby Driscoll.
he was just
God rest
there.
his soul.
He's just there. This movie to me was like 10 minutes opening, little kid, whatever,
Yeah.
pirates, and then different pirates,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was, oh look, 7 shots of the fucking boat,
Mm-hmm.
a scene, 7 shots of the fucking boat for 30 minutes. I
Yeah, what
swear
happened to
to
the
God.
weird blind pirate? He just kind of was there and then never came back. I thought he was.
No!
I thought he was the big bad.
There was the big nose guy that never came back.
Oh, yeah,
he
big
was like the
nose
shadow
man.
guy when he was like, "We're gonna get the gold." And he was like, "Shh." I don't know who he was. He appeared, was like,
He had a line. He had his line. That was his time.
this movie was. They just took a bunch of guys and were like, "Be pirates,"
Yeah.
and filmed it. Like
Why was the kid joining again?
his dad, who is that man to him? The
I think
original
he-
guy, Captain Bones.
Oh, Mr. Bones.
Is Captain Bones just like, where did Jim come from? Who is Jim to Captain Bones? Just a little
Just
kid?
like his ward, pretty much.
cool.
Yeah, so the father and mother doesn't exist. Just
Yeah,
like a little...
I mean, I guess the only reason he's there is because
But, like, I'm still,
Bones
like-
is like, have a map.
Yes,
and then
the tr-
everyone is like, we'll just keep it with the kid and take the kid around.
Yeah, like if I were
They
like,
could just take the map and leave the kid there. The kid doesn't have any reason to go to this island himself.
the entire like
He gets no gain out of it. besides, I mean, Avenging the Pirates, which I guess was cool back then. That's like, if you were a kid, I guess you wanted to do that. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe
Just,
that's what they were going for. It's just like this kid's living the
that's
dream.
what it felt like. He like this like old pirate like that doesn't do anything. He's sick, and then this kid's like finally gets his chance to be this like.
Yeah, because
pirate.
most people would be
mean,
like, "Oh, you have a treasure map?
Maybe
Give me that
this
shit."
movie is deeper, and it just doesn't show it.
Well, I don't think it's that deep. I think it's truly just like Disney
We're
being
looking for
like,
something deep.
it's Disney being like, what is every kid at this time's fantasy? Pirates. And so they, they adapted Treasure Island, which is the ultimate pirate story.
I said this during or after we finished the movie. How many damn movies does Disney make with pirates? Let alone the entire Pirates of the Caribbean franchise.
I mean, but it's insane that they're one of their big cash cows is our fucking pirate
pirates.
movies.
Like, so simple, and it's I don't know. I've never noticed it.
The story
till
to
today.
this, maybe it's like a better book. Maybe reading the book, I would have had more fun.
I think so.
But watching this movie, I was just kind of like, I don't know, I don't care. Like, it's like, watch these pirates do the boat things. Want to see them hoist the sails, and then all of a sudden, there's like this weird drama that like I don't think
like all of the mutiny stuff.
Yeah.
Which I mean, it's cool to watch because I mean, it's just pirates doing pirate things. But at the same time, it's nothing.
Yeah. It's,
I don't know. Maybe
it's-
this is a basic ass take, but I'm way more excited for Treasure Planet because I think this is that's Treasure Island done as like an actual movie, pretty much.
I
Even
was
though
ready
Yes.
for Treasure Island, for Treasure Planet when we started.
I feel like
Treasure
this
Island.
is. I feel like this is someone making the book a script. Treasure Island and Treasure Planet is inspiring off the book.
yes, it's taking the broad strokes and
Which-
I
turning
thought
it into something new.
You do time weird. You do the latest first always, and I've learned that. And that it's you just said Treasure Planet first and then Treasure Island, in chronologically.
Did I?
Yes, which is I was almost gonna correct you and be like,
Did I?
no, I think you're wrong because I think
Did
they.
I? Did I? Did I?
You're right, you're just
Did I
dumb.
do?
Did I?
You see,
I still need to watch Hoodwinked.
it's hoodwinked. I know we talked about this last time. I think, but
Probably because I think
I
I
mean,
did.
Literally-
why would we ever
Not talk
miss
about-
the opportunity to talk about Hoodwinked?
this.
When this movie came out, I know this movie. I've seen a breakdown of it. Yes, I know this movie. I don't know the plot, but like I know what it is. I was like,
It's
this is the
so
shittiest film
funny.
made. I'm never laying my eyes upon this.
Is the second one the one where they're having like the snowboarding
There's a second
conversation?
one.
Yes,
The second one is apparently awful.
it is. But no, what's the
Rush
one where they're
9.
having a snowboarding competition? Is that still the first
I
one?
think that's the first one.
That's the first one.
It's so fucking funny. There's so much that happens in that movie where I'm just like, I want to be what they have. Can I have it? What's the brew they drank before they made this movie? Because
kind of a more interesting modern fairy tale world than Shrek.
I still think that was made before its time. Like I want to see like a reanimated, a remake of Hoodwinked. Not this live action bullshit, but like I just want to.
Just like with actual texture and
Yeah,
lighting and
Because
not everyone being so fucking stiff.
it looks like a Blender animation made by a college student.
Yes.
Like, and
It's the worst looking movie ever made. It's so funny.
Which
feel,
is why I.
but I also feel like that adds so much to it.
Yeah, it feels like forbidden. Like you shouldn't be watching this.
like
I
that
think
squirrel character I
when
identify
it came out,
as.
I was such. I mean, I consumed other than Disney, but Disney was like my favorite. So
Right.
if it didn't look like the Disney like animation style, clean, whatever, I did not want like Shrek. I would be like
Totally
it was
understand.
clean. It was
That is DreamWorks.
No, but I.
in
Uh,
terms of
oh,
animation
okay.
style. Like,
In terms
this movie.
I
is
I
not
blacked out
clean.
for a
I
second
had
and you said
no-
Shrek and I was like, what?
Just like in terms of like you have your Pixar and your DreamWorks and your Blue Sky that are doing.
Hoodwink does not look like a Disney movie.
No.
It does not look
No,
like a Disney
and that's
movie.
part of the reason why I was like, this has got to be some shit movie because it looks like trash.
Well, you're not
And I know we
wrong.
can do better
Not
because. But I think there's some
I have nightmares
There's
about
some
the
treasure in that trash.
Yeah,
the Wiener
exactly.
Schnitzel man. The Wiener Schnitzel man.
Oh, the favorite.
He lives in my nightmares. Like the one part where he just like goes insane with the fucking axe and just, like all the kids start running and I'm just oh that movie.
Maybe that was
Anyways,
something recently, but anyways.
Treasure Island because we definitely want to talk about this.
I
Last-
mean,
I mean-
what else? Oh, it's a surprisingly violent movie. I feel like we should bring it up.
There was a lot more blood and gunshot. Like,
You watch him, and one of
A lot
the
of
first things that
gasping.
happened that I think we all gasped at is when the man got shot in the head,
yeah,
and all of us were like, "Oh," because you just see like
you can't
that was
do
like the
that
first-
in a Disney movie.
bit of violence that
Yeah.
we'd seen in this movie.
Yeah, and
It
that's
was-
like more. That's about halfway actually.
The sword fights were so funny because it was literally like slow, and it looked like they were supposed to be going so fast and
Yeah.
had so much like aggression behind it, but it
But they didn't want to fucking stab each other.
yeah,
so
because those were probably like metal, like they probably could have killed each other
Yes.
with those swords.
Oh,
Absolutely.
definitely. They probably making fake props wasn't a thing back then. It was
It
like,
was,
oh, they have
"We'll
a
dull
sword.
the edge down.
Yeah.
Don't kill each other."
No, like I mentioned that where the kid gets the knife thrown into his shoulder, and it was just edited so funny to where it's like there was one scene of him, like I'm gonna say shot of him throwing it, and then it stopped and went to a scene of the knife perfectly straight, going forward, and then a shot of the kid going like back because he got hit with the knife, and it was just so funny to me because like it went fast, but you could see every single ding ding ding, and I'm like, the steps were there.
Disney at this time is interesting because I feel like their live action output has the production value of the time, but it feels very amateur at this point.
Yeah.
Like it feels like they are still getting their bearings and don't totally know how to make these movies.
Which again, you
Which is crazy because I feel like we've seen so many of them.
We really haven't seen that many though.
I know
we've
you,
I
had,
think
like,
they're just
5.
so. Each one of them is so nothing that
Yes.
they feel like.
Well, we were watching
Ever.
live action movies and we were also watching package movies, and you were a fan of neither of those.
Correct.
this season I feel like is gonna like it's funny because we go from like live action to like I think our next like animated one you'll know is Alice in Wonderland,
Probably.
which I
I
think
think
we're
that might be our next episode.
is Alice in Wonderland next?
That's so exciting.
I
Oh my
love Alice
God,
in
a
Wonderland.
good episode finally.
Good- one will actually
We
like
just had Cinderella. Cinderella was fantastic.
You're right. I forgot Cinderella was our last one.
Cinderella was I think a good
No,
episode.
Cinderella's a good episode. I like that movie a lot. I'm excited to re-delve into Alice after playing the first Kingdom Hearts and like after knowing Alice by heart
Yeah.
and just
Alice as a story means
I
more
haven't-
to you.
watch a lot.
Yep, it's the next one.
Hell yeah.
I haven't watched a lot of these movies.
Oh yeah, see here, and then so we do Alice in Wonderland. Then the next one is the story of Robin Hood and Miss and his merry men, and then the next one's
Live
Peter
action.
Pan.
I was like, that's the live action one, right?
The
And
next
Peter
one,
Pan.
Peter Pan's.
I
after
just
that.
watched Peter Pan recently, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How was it? Preview on your thoughts.
The night before last. I don't want to say anything too much before we get to the episode because it is coming up.
And then Jake's gonna be very confused for after Peter Pan.
It's fine. I mean, I'm sure I feel like after Peter Pan, they have their grounding. I feel like they should be all right.
after Peter Pan, it's tell me if you know any of these. The
no,
sword-
I won't know them, but I
Okay.
think they might have
Oh, there's Lady and
found
Tramp.
something.
These are bound to get better over time, and that's going to be the interesting part of this podcast is seeing how they improve.
Wow,
But we're
1995.
probably going to
Is-
have to judge some of these on a curve.
Peter Pan Bobby's last role with Disney? Like, I want to know when we finally reach
I-
the end of this fucker. And it could be soon, and I'm excited.
I don't like that phrasing considering that he died tragically young.
Yes.
This is him. I'm sure, like, he turned out to be a great actor and, like, whatever.
I don't
And,
think
like,
so.
could have had potential.
Wow,
But
1955 was a year for them. They released 4, 5, 6 movies.
MCU gets one.
Well, this was 1995, buddy.
And it's 2023.
1955. Sorry.
That is, in fact, his last thing with Disney, as
Good.
far as I can tell. Yeah.
Mhm.
Hold on a second. How the
What?
that's 3 years apart.
What?
From this to Peter Pan.
He hit puberty.
Yeah.
His voice changed.
I
Think of
mean-
Peter Pan's voice right now and what we just listened to.
Well, yes, because he's, like, 8 in this, and I'm...
No, I think he's probably at like the last
yeah.
year of his voice
Yeah.
being as high as it is, and he's about to fully change.
That might have been what some of the weirdness... I don't know if I just didn't pay attention to the last few, but he was yelling in lowercase, like, the entire movie.
That's
It
how
could've
he
just been his voice was
I
changing.
don't
Yeah.
know if that had to do with puberty or if it's just been like that, and I just noticed it.
Right.
No,
But
like it's so weird because Peter Pan, I think he does great
Yeah.
as Peter
I
Pan.
love him as
He's
like,
iconic.
yeah, it's.
But all these other
such a
ones,
good
I feel like he's just
performance.
playing the same character that just happens to be going
He's
through all
just
this shit.
Such a child actor, and it's kind of unfortunate.
Like,
Which I think
it's sad to see in a way where you're like,
I feel like
You
back
poor kid.
I feel
Yeah.
like back in the day he was the aw character, so everyone's like, oh my god, it's him.
Yeah.
It's the guy. So
I'm
I feel
sure like he was. Everyone loved him and everything.
I'm
back
sure
when
he
those
was a
came out,
really
like,
famous little kid.
like-
for his
People also
day.
just didn't understand what good acting was.
Yeah, I mean, what they'd last seen him in was the same thing. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
Okay. All of this being said, how many pieces of 8 out of 5 are we
pieces
giving?
of 8. That is the best.
That's good, right?
Yeah, that we don't even have to argue about this one.
Pieces of 8 out of 5.
Yes.
I'm down. That's such how I feel about this movie.
Who wants to go first? I'll go 2. Two pieces of 8. I just like the reason it's getting 2 is because I think for its time, I think it's shot pretty good. But I said this with all the other live actions where it surprises me like how well they're shot for being back then. Like the entire scene where after he's been stabbed in the shoulder and he's running through the woods and all the fog's coming up and he's like falling down, that genuinely looks cool. And then there's like a few like honestly the other star just has to be Ben Gunn, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
He has his entire own star because anytime he came on screen, I was like, whoever this little guy is, he's my favorite.
And then that xylophone's playing.
His instrument is a freaking xylophone. He's dope as heck. Anyways, yeah, that's why it's 2 for me. You want to go next, Jake?
Sure. Mine's also a 2. 1 point for the xylophone, 1 point for Ben.
So technically, they're both Ben.
One's the xylophone. It was a funny
That's
noise.
for Ben. The xylophone only ever plays for
That
Ben.
is the reason this gets 2 stars.
I get it.
Other than that, this would get, I would say 0 stars. Like I would not give this. Like there's
Has
not
there been a
one
0
reason
star yet?
besides Ben that I would watch any clip, anything from this movie. Unlike Song of the South, where like, oh, we got something good out of it. We didn't get.
I think
anything
the
good out
lowest
of
we've
this.
gone is a half star, right?
I think so.
I feel like that should be the lowest we.
I'm giving it a 2, but if it weren't for Ben, it'd be a 0.5 or 0.
Yeah, yeah.
In my head.
I give it a 0.1.
I give it a 0.05.
This is
So 2-2.
this is 2.5
Oh,
pieces of 8 for me.
it's a lot
I
of
had
pieces.
it
Out
at
of 5.
3 and then I brought it down. I don't know. It genuinely, it looks nice. I was basically able to follow it because I know the story of Treasure Island through cultural osmosis.
That's a big
I
word for
don't
Elmo.
know. I was like basically vibing with it, but also I'm going to retain none of it.
Yeah. There was scenes that I was actually like, this is a cool scene, this is a funny scene. But then there was other scenes where I'm just like, I feel like we're just having we're having the same conversation in a different texture.
I feel like if I were a kid watching
These
it, I
past
would
movies
just
have
kind of
been
be
the same
like,
conversation, different textures.
I would just be kind of like barely paying attention, and then whenever there's like a big fight and
That's
people are like dying and shit,
I was
would
like
be
kind of
paying
zoned
attention.
out when like it was just Long John Silver. Was that his name?
Yeah,
Holy shit, I remembered it.
I'm proud of you.
And Jim. And I'm like, it's just like minutes of just them talking, and I'm slowly like, what's happening in the background over there? Oh, there's a bird over there.
It was funny to see some
And then
of
it's
the
like
background
pirate,
actors.
fight, and I get
Those
that
back-
might have been. No, I'm changing my score. Still a 2. 1 for Ben, 1 for the background pirate actors, who would just go
Okay,
pick up a rope, look at it, and put it down
So-
and walk away.
so Ben is like Xylophone and Ben are like the half
Yes.
stars. Okay.
Yes, they're both half
No,
stars.
that was funny though. Like the background pirates were just kind of like you could tell that it's like you're a pirate. Go, because like they would walk with like their chest up. I was that one part where this guy in the back lifts up a piece of rope and goes, "This is rope." Puts it back down and walks away. And I was like, that was what you do on a good ship.
There was
I would
one
do that
point
too.
where I was not interested in the scene. I was just watching the background guys just doing their shit. Some guy comes on off screen, greets another dude, comes on the stairs, and then it cuts. I thought this man was gonna say something, had some point. They said,
Oh
cut,
my gosh,
like,
I totally know what part you're
he
talking
came
about.
down the stairs, and that was the end of the scene.
He came down with purpose. He
He
came
was like-
down with like, I have my thing. This is my line. It was like that. He came up, was about to breathe, and it cut. I know. I also thought
It
that
was-
man was important to the story, and then he wasn't. And I was like, well,
Okay.
at least he was catching my eye as a background person.
I did really love the Mr. Ben just playing with the goat coins. Like, they are nothing to him.
No,
Yeah.
Ben Gunn.
Absolutely trash to him. Like, the same as a rock.
Again, this is proof
But
that
they're pretty.
the Ben Gunn is his own star. Like he has his
No, he's not his own star. He is the star.
the star. Yeah. So, two and a half. That's pretty actually like close. Just we all kind of agree like it's okay.
Yeah.
It's
exists.
it's a movie that has been watched. Would I put it on again? Maybe for something.
As
No,
the,
you're.
as like the first live action, the first like real kind of entirely live action Disney movie, I was kind of hoping it would be better.
Yeah.
I was Treasure Island, and I knew it wasn't gonna be fantastic, but I had some idea in my head of a better movie,
Yeah.
like more action, more. I don't know, just a better movie.
Just a bit more. It should be a bit more compelling.
I wanted a bit more
this.
texture.
I
out of
feel
it
like
than
they
got.
had
It
the
was a
char-
lot of fluff.
They had a characters and not a story. It felt like.
They were like, we have these characters. They're gonna go to the island and find that. They do some shit along the way. They're pirates.
Because they
That's
kept,
the movie.
there was so many characters that kept like each character I felt like that was introduced was like purposeful.
There was like,
but then they
yeah,
didn't do anything.
like the entire group of like Long John's guys were like important, but they were not.
They're
at
important-
They were not
all.
developed.
Yeah, they're just like their point was
Pirate Man.
we're pirate men who don't want to follow your order, and then when he's like okay don't, then they're like but we wait hold on no you
Wait, then who's gonna tell us what?
and that was their characters.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't even know. This movie is a meh. It's a meh out of meh.
Meh.
Guys, thank you so much for listening. You can find us on Spotify and on YouTube. I don't know.
Merch coming years from now.
Yeah.
I know the three of us can make some great merch.
We can make some great merch.
We're gonna have.
We need to be making money first, buddy.
Where do you think we get the money? The merch.
He makes a point.
Yeah, you know what?
Like,
Merch out tomorrow. Go
we're
to our
selling
website
ourselves tonight.
We're selling our
Selling out.
Today.
Do not care. Money.
Website will be up tomorrow. Tomorrow being when I post this, being 2 years and a half from now. Ba, 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 ba.